You've been told your whole life to eat more vegetables, and for most of your life that was exactly the right advice. But here's what almost nobody tells you and what I've had to explain to hundreds of patients in my clinic over the years after age 60. A handful of the vegetables you consider the healthiest, the ones sitting right there on your plate right now, may be quietly putting your kidneys under serious strain. I'm not talking about junk food. I'm not talking about sugar or soda or processed meat. I'm talking about vegetables. Foods that appear on every healthy eating list. Foods your doctor may have even recommended, and for most people they're fine. But if you're over 60, if your kidneys have started to slow down even slightly, and if you eat these vegetables regularly, especially in large amounts, the damage can be silent, gradual, and by the time you notice it, it's already done. My name is Dr. William. I've spent more than 2 decades working with older adults, and kidney health is one of the areas I feel most strongly about because the kidneys are one of the most quietly damaged organs in the body. There are no early warning bells, no obvious pain, no flashing signal that says pay attention. The kidneys just quietly lose function year by year until one day the numbers on your lab report come back and your doctor looks concerned. What I want to do today is give you the conversation that most people never have with their doctor, because a 12-minute office visit doesn't leave much time for nuance and the truth about kidney health after 60 requires nuance. Before I get into the first vegetable, do me a quick favor. Drop your age in the comments below. If you're over 60, over 65, over 70, I want to hear from you. It helps me know I'm reaching the right people, and this community of older adults supporting each other is one of the most powerful things we've built here. So, take 2 seconds and tell me your age. Now let's talk about what's actually happening to your kidneys as you get older, because understanding this will change how you look at everything I'm about to share. By the time most people reach their 60s, kidney function has already started declining. It's not a disease, it's biology. Every decade after about age 40, kidney filtration capacity drops by roughly 1% per year. That sounds small, but by the time you're 70, your kidneys may be filtering at 70 to 80% of what they did at 40, by 80 even less. And here's the critical part most people have no idea because you don't feel it. The kidneys are remarkably resilient. They compensate. They keep filtering, keep clearing waste, keep managing your fluid and mineral balance until the day they can't anymore. Now add to that picture the way the body processes certain minerals and compounds as we age. After 60, several things change. The gut absorbs oxalates more readily in some people. Protein metabolism shifts. The body has less flexibility when managing potassium levels. Blood pressure medications, which millions of older adults take, can affect how the kidneys handle certain nutrients. And the kidneys themselves become more vulnerable to inflammation, dehydration, and excess mineral load. None of this means you're fragile. It means you need smarter choices, not just healthy-sounding choices. So let's go through the 5 vegetables I see causing the most trouble for kidneys in older adults. And for everyone, I'm going to give you a better alternative, something you can enjoy instead without the risk. Yes, I said spinach. I know, it's on every superfood list. It's packed with iron and folate and vitamin K, and for a 35-year-old with healthy kidneys eating a small portion in a smoothie once in a while, it's probably fine. But for someone over 60, eating spinach regularly and in large amounts, there's a real problem that almost no one talks about. Spinach is one of the highest oxalate foods in existence. In a single cup of cooked spinach, you're getting somewhere between 600 and 900 milligrams of oxalate. That is an enormous amount. And here's what matters. Oxalates, when they reach the kidneys in high concentrations, can bind with calcium and form crystals. Those crystals, if they build up over time, contribute directly to kidney stones and kidney tissue damage. Now, younger kidneys can manage this more efficiently. But aging kidneys, already filtering at a reduced capacity, already dealing with lower hydration in many older adults, already under strain from medications or blood pressure, they have a much harder time clearing excess oxalate. And here's the part that really surprises people. A lot of older adults are drinking green smoothies every single day with large handfuls of raw spinach, thinking they're doing something incredibly healthy for their bodies. Some of them are actually increasing their kidney stone risk every single morning. In simple terms, think of oxalates as tiny sharp crystals that your kidneys have to filter out. Young, strong kidneys handle the job. Aging kidneys can get overwhelmed, and over time, those crystals can leave their mark. The better choice here is kale, and I want to be specific about how you prepare it. Lightly steamed or. Kale has dramatically lower oxalate content than raw spinach. It still gives you folate, vitamin C, and valuable antioxidants, but it doesn't put the same crystal burden on your kidneys. You get the nutrition without the risk. Another excellent alternative is arugula low oxalate, great flavor, and genuinely protective for the cardiovascular system as well. Beets are one of those foods that has had an incredible glow up in the wellness world over the last decade, and I understand why. They're genuinely interesting. Nutritionally, they're high in nitrates, which support blood vessel dilation. They're colorful, earthy, and they pair well with a lot of things. But here is what the wellness world isn't telling you clearly enough, especially if you're over 60. Beets are exceptionally high in oxalates. 1 cup of cooked beets contains roughly 675 milligrams of oxalate. Combined with the fact that many older adults aren't drinking nearly enough water, which I'll come back to, beets eat and regularly create a very real risk of oxalate accumulation in kidney tissue, and for people who have already had a kidney stone or who have been told their kidney function is slightly reduced, beets can be genuinely dangerous in large quantities. There's another issue with beets that gets even less attention. Beets are high in naturally occurring compounds that can affect blood pressure and fluid balance in older adults with sensitive kidney function. For some people, that's actually a benefit. But for others, particularly those on certain blood pressure medications or diuretics, it creates an unpredictable interaction that puts extra load on already stressed kidneys. What I tell my patients is this: if you love beets, don't feel like you can never have them again. A small portion, occasionally with plenty of water, is probably fine for most people. But if you're eating beet chips every day or drinking beet juice as a daily ritual, you need to know the risk you're taking. The better alternatives here include red cabbage and radishes, both vibrant, nutritious, genuinely kidney-friendly, and they offer many of the antioxidants people are looking for in beets without the oxalate load. Now, this one is going to upset some people. And I want to be careful here, because tomatoes are not dangerous for everyone over 60. But for a significant portion of older adults, specifically those with diagnosed chronic kidney disease, or those with lab numbers showing reduced GFR, or those with potassium management issues, tomatoes are a very real problem that their doctors often don't specifically flag. Here's the issue: tomatoes are high in potassium. And while potassium is an essential mineral, the kidneys are responsible for regulating potassium levels in the blood. When kidney function is reduced, the kidneys can't clear excess potassium efficiently. And when potassium builds up in the bloodstream, a condition called hyperkalemia, it becomes genuinely dangerous. We're talking about muscle weakness, fatigue, irregular heartbeat, and in severe cases, cardiac events. Now, one tomato isn't going to cause hyperkalemia, but think about how tomatoes appear in the average senior's diet. A serving of tomato sauce on pasta, diced tomatoes in soup, a large slice on a sandwich, sun-dried tomatoes in a salad, tomato juice as a supposedly healthy drink. If you have reduced kidney function and you're stacking tomatoes throughout the day, you can be accumulating far more potassium than your kidneys can safely clear. Here's what most doctors don't have time to explain in a routine visit. CKD, chronic kidney disease, affects approximately 38 million Americans, and a significant number of them are over 60 and don't even know they have it. So if you have not had a recent kidney function panel, including your GFR and creatinine, this is the moment I am telling you directly, please get one. Not because I want to alarm you, but because you deserve to know what your kidneys are actually doing right now. If your kidney function is normal, moderate tomato consumption is probably fine. But if you have any concern, switch to bell peppers. Red bell peppers in particular give you tremendous vitamin C, antioxidants, and rich flavor, with a much lower potassium burden than tomatoes. They are genuinely one of the best kidney protective vegetables available, and I will not apologize for being enthusiastic about them. Now, this next one is where things get really interesting, and where I've seen the most confusion in my clinic. I want to clarify something immediately. The potato itself is not inherently evil, but for older adults managing kidney health or blood sugar, and many people over 60 are managing both simultaneously, potatoes in the forms most commonly eaten are a compounded problem. Here's the first issue. Potatoes are one of the highest potassium vegetables you can eat. A medium-baked potato with the skin contains upward of 900 milligrams of potassium. That is nearly double what you'd get from a banana, which most kidney patients are already warned about. And again, for aging kidneys that are already struggling to regulate potassium levels, this is not a theoretical concern. Here's the second issue. Potatoes, particularly mashed, fried, or baked with toppings, cause significant and rapid blood sugar spikes. And this matters for kidney health because high blood sugar directly damages the small blood vessels inside the kidneys over time. This is one of the primary mechanisms by which diabetes leads to kidney disease. If you are pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic and eating potatoes regularly, you are hitting your kidneys with two stressors at once: the potassium load and the glucose damage. I had a patient, Harold, 73, from rural Georgia, who came to me with blood pressure that had been climbing and kidney numbers that were trending in the wrong direction. We went through his diet carefully. He was eating mashed potatoes almost every night. Not because he was being reckless, because potatoes are vegetables and vegetables are healthy, right? We made one change. We replaced his evening potatoes with cauliflower mash. Within 3 months, his blood pressure had come down meaningfully, his potassium was back in a safer range, and his energy had noticeably improved. One swap. That's how powerful this can be. Cauliflower is an exceptional kidney-friendly alternative. You can roast it, mash it, steam it, rice it. It's genuinely versatile, and it doesn't carry the potassium or the glycemic load. Sweet potatoes, while still moderate in potassium, are a better choice than white potatoes if you want that root vegetable comfort, though even they should be portion controlled for anyone with kidney concerns. And I want you to stay with me here, because this is the vegetable I've seen cause the most quiet, overlooked kidney damage in older adults. You may be thinking I barely eat rhubarb, but stay with me, because this one reveals a principle that applies to several other foods in the same family. Rhubarb contains some of the highest concentrations of oxalic acid of any plant food on the planet. We're talking upward of 800 to 1200 milligrams per 100 grams. That is a staggering amount for an organ that is already working below its peak capacity. Here's the principle that rhubarb teaches us. The foods that are highest in oxalic acid: rhubarb, spinach, beets, Swiss chard, dark chocolate in large amounts, all belong to the same biochemical family of concern for aging kidneys. And the problem is not a single exposure. The problem is the cumulative load over months and years of eating these foods regularly, often daily, often in large portions, under the genuine belief that you're doing something wonderful for your health. I've seen patients who came to me with their first kidney stone in their 60s and couldn't figure out why. They were eating cleanly, exercising, avoiding junk food, but they were drinking a green smoothie with raw spinach, a beet, and sometimes even a piece of rhubarb every single morning. The kidneys had been filtering extreme oxalate loads for years, and eventually the crystals accumulated to the point where the body couldn't manage anymore. The alternative here is broad. When you're thinking about leafy greens and vibrant vegetables, choose from the lower oxalate family: green cabbage, bok choy, arugula, romaine lettuce, cucumber, zucchini, green peas, asparagus, and broccoli. All excellent, all relatively kidney-friendly when eaten in normal portions, and all genuinely nourishing for the rest of your body as well. Let me take a moment before I summarize to say something important. None of what I've shared today is about restriction for its own sake. I am not telling you that vegetables are the enemy. The opposite is true. Vegetables are some of the most powerful tools you have for staying healthy, staying strong, and protecting your independence into your 70s, 80 seconds, and beyond. But healthy eating for a 35-year-old and healthy eating for a 70-year-old are not the same thing. And the sooner we acknowledge that, the better the choices we make. The kidneys are quiet workers. They don't complain until the problem is already serious. And what I've seen in my practice, again and again, is that small, consistent changes in diet make a real and measurable difference in how well the kidneys function over time. Not dramatic, overnight transformations. Just steady, informed choices that add up. If you've been eating spinach in large amounts daily, that doesn't mean your kidneys are ruined. It means it's time to make a swap. If you've been having beets regularly, it means it's worth checking in with your doctor about your kidney numbers. These are not catastrophes. They are course corrections, and course corrections are available to you at any age. One more practical point that I want to make before I close, because it connects everything I've said today. Hydration. Your kidneys filter roughly 200 liters of blood every single day. To do that work, they need water. Consistently, most older adults are mildly dehydrated most of the time, not severely, but chronically. And chronic mild dehydration concentrates the very minerals and oxalates we've been discussing today. It makes the kidneys' job dramatically harder. So alongside choosing the right vegetables, drinking enough water, at least 6 to 8 cups a day, more if you're active, is one of the single most protective things you can do for your kidneys starting today. So here's where we are. The 5 vegetables to reconsider for kidney health after 60 are spinach in large daily amounts, beets especially as juice or chips, tomatoes if you have any kidney function concerns or elevated potassium, potatoes for both the potassium and the blood sugar impact, and rhubarb along with others in that high oxalate family. and the smart alternatives kale, arugula, red bell peppers, cauliflower, bok choy, zucchini, green cabbage, broccoli, and cucumber give you the nutrition your body genuinely needs without placing that invisible strain on the organs doing the quiet, critical work of keeping you alive. The goal here is not perfect lab numbers for their own sake. The goal is staying strong enough, sharp enough, and independent enough to keep living the life you've built. The kidneys are part of that story, and now you know how to protect them. If you found this genuinely helpful, I want to ask one thing. Share this video with someone over 60 who cares about their health. A friend, a spouse, a sibling, a parent. The information I shared today is exactly the kind of thing that gets missed in standard medical visits, and it could make a real difference for someone you love. Drop a comment below telling me which vegetable surprised you most. I read these, and your responses help me understand what topics matter most to this community. And if you haven't subscribed yet and this kind of senior-specific, honest, practical health information matters to you, please subscribe now. I post regularly, and what we're building here is a place where older adults get the real conversation, not the rushed one. Now, if you want to go deeper on kidney health, I put together a video on the 4 drinks that are silently harming your kidneys after 60. Most people drink at least 2 of them every single day without any idea what they're doing to their filtration system. That video is next. I'll see you there.